Picture this, your favorite fancy restaurant. You've just ordered and you're thinking, hey, what can I do to spend the time? Well, maybe playing around with utensils on your table might be a fun way to do that. All you need, a spoon, a fork, a drinking glass, and if you can find one, a wooden match. And the challenge is to balance the spoon and the fork on the match and then balance the entire thing on a drinking glass. And we're going to use center of mass to make this possible. Take the spoon and interlace it into the tines of the fork so they stick together. Slide the match in between the center two tines of the fork, and then place the match on the edge of the glass. At this point, you can feel if it's in balance or not in balance, and you can, by sliding it this way, you'll feel when they start to come into balance. And when they're balanced, you slowly and carefully let go. And at this point, this contraption with the fork, the spoon, and the matchstick, the center of mass of that group of things is the point where it's touching the glass. And the reason that this is more stable than it would appear is that if you look at it eye level, you can see the point where it's balancing is higher than the point where a lot of the weight is, because the mass is actually in the handles of the fork and the spoon. So it makes it a little more stable than it would otherwise be if the weight was above the point where it's balancing. Now, sometimes you're not going to find wooden matches. They're not that common. So if you have two forks and a coin, you can do the same thing. And being a science magician, I always bring my magician's wallet, which is where I carry my money. Now, I'm using a $50 for this. You can use a quarter. That works great. Take the top tines of two forks, slide them onto the coin, and again, a quarter is fine. So we have this. Set the coin on the edge of the glass. Now, I can already feel it's not balanced. So what you do is you slide the handles of the fork either in or out until you feel with your hands that it's starting to balance. Again, this takes a little bit of a knack. But when you get it right, it looks amazing. You can leave this as a gift for your waitress. And not only is it a cool center of mass demonstration, but it's also a good earthquake detector. The reason that the forks and the spoon, the reason that those balances work so well is because of this principle. They're balancing at a higher point than where most of the mass is located. So in these wooden balls have quite a bit of weight. So even though it wobbles, it doesn't fall over. Having a low center of mass makes it a lot more stable than it would otherwise be. Also, using the same idea, you can make your own levitating magician. Head over to my website. It's sciencemagicvideos.com. Download and print one of these. Now, the one that I'm using is printed onto cardstock. If you make it on your own, print it on your regular printer, and then glue it to a little bit of heavier paper. It'll work better. Cut around the dotted lines, being very careful not to cut the picture of the magician, because obviously that would hurt me in real life. And once you have it like this, tape pennies on the back of my hands, and it tells you this in the instructions, and then this will balance on the end of your finger. So I can literally be floating in your own house. Again, center of mass.